Hey, what's going on YouTube? In today's video, we are going to highlight how you can copy your virtual machine in Esxi without the paid version. So this is a free version of Esxi. Up to this point, I had the lab shut down due to a recent move, so I'm getting everything set back up so I could do some labs and cover them with you guys. I was using Proxmox for a little bit, but it was, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the installation or what was going on, but I was having a lot of problems. So I had switched back over to ESXi because I never had a problem with it, and it is for lab purposes, and I just wanted to get in and out. I didn't want to continue to tinker around with that. So here we have it set up, and today we are going to cover how you can copy your machines quickly so you could get in labs and then delete them when you're done with them or whatever the case may be. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is obviously have some virtual machines already set up. That's not the purpose of today's video, but in the future, if you really needed it, we could go over that. But go ahead, download an ISO, set it up, and get it to the point where you want it to be. And that's where we will start today. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to enable SSH on this server. This is a lab, so you can't access this obviously, so I'm not too worried about it. And it is not exposed to the internet, and I expect for those that are doing this in a lab environment to have that same setup. So what you're going to do, it's already enabled, but you're going to go to actions along the top, go to services, and then you are going to enable secure shell. All right, so once we have SSH enabled, we want to go ahead and get into that machine. We're going to do that by specifying SSH command and then specifying the user, which is root, and then the IP address of the server. Once you are on the machine, you are going to want to head over to the directory where the data store is located. So let's go there now. Once we are here, we will see the two machines. We got Iron Man and Windows 10. So the command that we want to do, actually first before we do that, let's create another directory and let's name it templates, and then in there, we'll do something like that. And then the command that we want to run is the following. All right, as you can see, this is the command that we are going to run. We're going to specify the VMDK that we want to copy, or the hard drive that we want to copy, which is ironman_0.vmdk. And then we want to specify the destination, and we are just going to place it in templates, Ubuntu, and then ubuntu.vmdk. This is just an example. This is maybe not something that you want to do, but let's go ahead and execute that. Actually, before executing that, you want to specify that it is a thin provisioned hard drive. And let's go ahead and we'll come back once this is finished. All right, so once that clone has been completed and you see 100% done, let's go ahead and copy over one more file using the cp command or copy. So let's go ahead and copy from Iron Man, and then we want the VMX file, which is the instructions for this virtual machine. Yeah, VMX. And then we want to place that into our templates folder and just say, we'll just do ubuntu.vmx. This needs to go in there. So let's go ahead and move that. I messed up. All right, so now we have the VMDK files and the VMX files. So we go ahead and we'll clear that out, and then we will go back to our UI or our user interface. And let's go to create a virtual machine, register an existing virtual machine, hit next. We're going to select that, and then we're going to go into our templates folder, Ubuntu, and then select the VMX file that we just copied over, hit next, hit finish. And then if we go down to this one and then we power on, we're going to say that we copied it over, because as you can see here, there are certain management and networking features that need to take place if it is copied over, so it's not using the same MAC address, for instance. And then we are going to get this problem here, which is Iron Man VMDK. So the way that I got around this was by doing the following. So what you want to do is head over to that directory that we had just created. So we'll go into templates, Ubuntu, and then we want to use Vi for the VMX file. And in there, we are going to specify the new VMDK file. So it is no longer ironman_0. We're going to use I for inserting text in Vi. So we want to name this ubuntu.vmdk. We're going to hit Control-C to get into our command within Vi, and then we'll do WQ for write and then quit. It is capitalized, so let's do that one more time. So Vi ubuntu.vmx. We could use the / to search, and we'll just search VMDK. And once we are here, we will hit I again for insert, and we will just replace that undercase U with an uppercase, and then we will do Control-C, WQ to write quit, and save that. And now if we go ahead and go to our Iron Man again, and we hit power on, as you can see, we are powering on. So we will go ahead and power on both of our machines to highlight that this template is able to communicate with one another and everything works as intended. So we will let that power up, and we will be back in a minute. Two things I want to point out, as you can see here, is if we go into our Iron Man, this is our second one. We could rename this, which we probably should do that. I'll do that in a second. But if we go down to network adapter, one thing that I want to point out is that this MAC address is different than if we go into the other Iron Man. The importance behind that is because it is highlighting that the management functions that take place within ESXi after selecting that we copied this machine over has taken place. So we now have two virtual machines that are separate, and there should be no conflicts. So if we go ahead and open this up, you could see that we have a full working virtual machine just by copying that over. Pretty straightforward. One thing that you always want to do is update and upgrade your machine. This is just going to show that everything is working as we intended. The same thing will take place with a Windows machine, so there's no point of actually covering that again. But you could do this a number of times. You could go ahead and just create another one based on this templates folder. So let's say if we wanted to go into, back into, so now let's just say that this Ubuntu VMDK and VMX is actually our template. So we no longer want to copy that Iron Man one. We want to copy this Ubuntu one. So if we went back into our templates, or back into our data store root directory, I guess, parent directory, and let's list out the contents here. So let's say we want to make another directory and call it, or another virtual machine and call it Hulk, maybe for our storage. And then we would essentially just run those same commands for the Ubuntu. So we would just run the same commands, but for the Ubuntu. So let's go ahead. Actually, I'm not gonna do it now because it's already running. But just to give you an idea, we would do the same thing, and now we would copy this Ubuntu template over to this directory. So every time we want to create a new virtual machine, instead of having to go through the process of getting everything set up, we already have it set up to what we want, as far as maybe various tools are on this machine or whatever the case may be. It's already updated and upgraded. SSH is on there. Your SSH keys are on there. Instead of having to do that every single time, create that template, copy it over to that templates folder, and then from that point forward, go ahead and create a copy of the template into your new directory using this command that we had discussed before. And that's going to close out today's video. As I had mentioned in the beginning of this video, I said I would go over the windows, but it's going to be the same thing. So for the purpose of this video, I think we got the point across. We covered the various tools and commands and the files that are necessary to create a copy. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely worth your time if you have a free version of ESXi and you are not running Proxmox. With Proxmox, you are able to create templates. I just had a couple of issues when I was using Proxmox, and I just wanted to get into the lab and create some virtual machines to practice some things and get some things out to you guys. So that is why I went back to Esxi for the time being. Maybe in the future I'll jump over to Proxmox and have some fun that way. But for the time, this is what we are going to be using. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you were able to take something away, drop a comment, like, subscribe for more, and as always, never stop learning.